I got out of school and like my first job it's like a local, smaller kind of corporate job. But it was very like high paced, get the patients in, do as much as you can, get them out as quick as possible. So it was like very impersonal. I was thinking about my family dentist and how he was. He worked like 4 days a week, seemed like a good gig. He got along really well with all of his patients, and the staff seemed like they loved working with him. And that just wasn't my experience in my first job. And pretty much at that moment, I just said I was going to do it. It just took this long to find the real estate, and then it was a brand new building, so it took a while for that to build out. And I finally opened kind of at the tail end of COVID, I guess. I opened right when our state opened back up, so the timing worked out well for me. But now that I'm open, it's great, but that also comes with its own struggles. So it seems like every step I get, there's another level to get to. There's always challenges, in the way.
Can you share with us, I don't know, like any part of your like personal journey with anxiety or depression? Like for me, it definitely started, I noticed it when I was in middle school and high school. Did you notice any of these things when you were younger, or was it more like being in dental school or graduating from dental school or starting a practice or starting a family?
I probably noticed it more when I was out of school and trying to do the startup thing. Once I had this idea of doing a startup, it pretty much consumed me. Trying to understand it totally. I don't have any experience with it. For one, I don't talk about it. So
yeah.
Lucky you to get it out of me now. But
that's a great question. Is it easy, or is it more difficult for you to feel like you can be safe enough to be vulnerable?
I don't shy away from saying the things that I feel. I don't have a problem doing that, but just, I guess, the way my personality is, I deal with things internally. I don't talk about them. It's not because I'm afraid to, or I'm embarrassed, or I'm shy. It's just the way I kind of live my life is kind of in my own mind. And I feel like I probably get that from family. My dad is very much the same way. He's gone through some struggles of his own, but I've never heard him talk about it. Only recently am I like, do I really have anxiety and depression, or is this just like normal life for most people? I don't know. So I don't fully understand my own emotions.
Why do you think guys, on the whole, why are they mostly quiet about their emotions, about what they're thinking, or, like the mental and emotional health stuff?
I think there's probably some truth to the fact that a lot of men don't want to be seen as vulnerable or soft, I guess. Again, that's not something that I feel personally. So maybe some people are just like me, and they're just more, secluded, I guess, in their thoughts and their emotions.
We have a 14-year-old son turning 15 in November, and I don't know. I mean, some of the conversations with him are, he's built way more like his dad, and he's more of an introvert. But I also am having a conversation with him and my daughter, though, that, expressing emotion and being honest about how you're feeling, those are all good things. Crying is not bad. And just because you are a guy, I think that so many guys, especially in certain upbringings and environments, experience shame, when they show emotion, right? And even just the social stigmas and stereotypes that are out there. Especially in the United States, guys are supposed to be strong and, the leaders, and they don't show emotion and all that. And it's all wrong. It really is. And it creates unrealistic expectations for all of our kids we're raising,
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot to that where it's a lot of your upbringing. You carry that with you pretty much throughout your entire life. even subconsciously, you're not aware of it. But I see that myself in being affectionate and stuff like that. That wasn't like the way I grew up. So like, that's not the way I communicate now. And, sometimes that's a little difficult with, the family. I don't show emotion like that. I'm just not used to it. It sometimes can make me uncomfortable, but, trying to, at least I kind of understand it now to where I can try to work on that and try to bring down my own walls.
Do you have any pro tips or habits that you're doing that you think are working for you?
I've always been, since high school, I worked out a lot. So I've been, really into fitness and stuff like that. Just having structure to your day a little bit. So like in school, like I said, this didn't start for me until after school. When I was in school, I was in my comfort zone because it was a consistent schedule. I ate the same every day. I worked out the same every day. I went to school every day. The patients that I treated in dental school were there because they needed care. They knew it. So they were grateful to get it from us. Now in private practice, people don't really want to be there. And then you tell them they have something that they need done. Sometimes it almost gets confrontational depending on who you're talking to. It can be so rewarding at times, but other times very, very stressful. And a lot of people don't even understand. When you say you're exhausted or you're stressed to somebody that works construction outside, they're like, what are you talking about? You sit down all day in the air conditioning. Like, it's way different than that. It's like a mental exhaustion, dealing with different people throughout the day, different personality types. And then, add on top of that, if you're a practice owner, every minute of the day, there's something on your mind, whether practice management, finances, staff, or the patients. So it's like a mass accumulation of all those factors. My own local groups of friends that are in the field that know the struggles that I'm going through, that can relate to what I'm going through. Some of my other friends that aren't in dentistry, it's hard for them to relate to me and me to relate to them. We can get together and have a good time, but when it comes to talking about life, I do that a lot more with the people in my field, for sure.
When we open up, we give others permission to open up. So I think sometimes we think that it's self-serving to be vulnerable when really you are creating an opportunity to have a connection with someone else who might be just waiting for someone to be honest about it.
That's true. So it takes like one brave person to kind of like open the floodgates. I see that with like staff meetings. If the entire group's upset about something, but no one wants to say anything until finally someone says something, and then everyone else is like, oh yeah, we all agree. Even just like, if you look at what's going on now, like the Black Lives Matter movement, it wasn't just everybody's all pissed off. Like, it started with probably one person that said like, this is enough. And then everyone else is like, you're right. It kind of goes from there.